Hey, what's going on, everybody? It's JR, and you are checking out the Sport Brief. So the National League Championship Series starts tonight. You have these guys, the Phillies, and then you have these guys, the Dodgers. Now, admittedly, of course, I see a whole lot more Phillies baseball because all they do is beat up on the Mets. And on a good night, I can get to Philadelphia in about an hour and a half, just go straight down the New Jersey Turnpike. I drive fast, what can you say? So, I obviously see a whole lot more Philly baseball than I do see Los Angeles Dodger baseball. You know what? And two things I know about the Phillies. I know they will bludgeon you with that whole big left-handed lineup. They're probably the best hitting team in the National League. But also know something else. Their bullpen, oh yeah, it sucks. It sucks terrible. And when you get into the postseason, the bullpen is what is probably going to have you sink or probably what's going to have you swim. Now, what I know about the Dodgers is they have okay pitching. And you know what? Their pitching kind of worked earlier in the season. It didn't work. It worked. It worked. It fluctuated. What I also know about the Dodgers is, outside of Manny Ramirez, Kemp, Andre Ethier, and I'm probably missing one or two guys, but obviously their lineup is not as strong as the Philadelphia Phillies lineup. Now, their bullpen, on the other hand, is obviously very strong. You got a guy named Jonathan Broxton who looked like he just got out of jail and he's ready to hurt somebody. And he goes out there and does his thing. Now, I'm not too certain. And I don't want to jump into conclusions or make judgments on necessarily what I read, and I haven't seen a whole lot of the Dodgers anyway. Heck is going on? I'm sorry, guys. The BlackBerry, even when I have the BlackBerry on silent, it goes off. There's some kid somewhere in the United States floating around in a balloon somewhere, and I don't know what the hell. CNN. Hold on, please, for 1 second while I turn to CNN. There's a kid somewhere. Excuse me if I'm not making eye contact with you guys. There's a kid somewhere in Denver, Colorado, floating around in what appears to be a muffin. And this JR Sport Brief has just gone to the dumps because I am now distracted by this floating muffin over, what does that say, Southern Colorado. And there's supposedly a 6-year-old kid floating. There's a 6-year-old kid floating around in a muffin outside of Colorado. Now, that sounds pretty dangerous to me. And there's two things that I hope for. A, you hope that if there is a child in a floating muffin, that this kid lives. And B, how did this kid get into a floating muffin? Does he not have anybody watching him? And if I'm correct, this thing also says that it is a homemade muffin. Who makes homemade balloons and sends their children up in balloons and muffins? You know what? The kid will be okay. If we can, fuel aircrafts while they fly in the air, military aircrafts while they fly in the air, we can go rescue a 6-year-old child out of a balloon, 10,000 feet up in the sky. We can make it happen. This kid will be all right. If there's a kid in the balloon, because now the balloon looks like it's getting ready to like slant and fall apart. So let's hope that this kid is okay. And by the time you see this video, hopefully the kid is okay and they pulled the muffin out the sky. But anyway, I'm totally distracted now. If you are a Dodgers fan, please educate me. What's going to happen in this series? If you're a Phillies fan, I can probably give a little bit more give and take with you. You probably know a little bit more than I do about the Phillies, but I've seen them. I see them beat the Mets all the time, so I probably see them at their peak. But who do you think is going to win the NLCS? And look out tomorrow for a preview on the ALCS. In that, between the Yankees and the Angels, I can get a little bit more in depth, a whole lot more in depth about that because, hey, I've seen the Angels whoop the Yankees too many times. And the Yankees are my local team along with the New York Mets. So, hey, what do you think, NLCS? Drop your comments. Hey, little boy in a balloon, get it together. This is JR. Later.